Can't make it. Can't get them. Even everyone's sorry, Simon. I know you wait on us. I had a new camera thing, and it's not. I want to sell my DSLR. Is basically what this means, and so I found out I can use my iPhone as a webcam, which is why it looks a bit weird and was a bit weird last week. So hopefully it's fixed. Also means I've got a tiny little bit more room in this Harry Potter cupboard. But
also, can we sort out what we was talking about a moment ago? Can anybody that thinks Alex is the wrong way round, as in his door's on the wrong side, can you let me know? Because I think I'm losing the plot.
I think this is right. Yeah, this is.
No, it's always the other side, mate. It's always the other side.
So if you're watching this, and if I'm the wrong way around, do tell me. I do have some sort of brown glow on me, though, like I'm just come back from Tenerife, which I have not.
In Bristol, haven't you?
I went to Bristol today and other places. Not today, though. Let's see if I can clean it up a bit. Is it got some sort of filter on it? No, it just made it blurry.
Ben makes a good point. Look at the poster. Look at your poster on your screen. No, on your screen.
Hang on. You can flip it. There, is that better?
No, still the same. I mean, it doesn't bother me, but you made me think I was losing.
Well, now the DM35 thing is the right way around.
It's not on mine.
Alex is mirrored. Is that better? Maybe it's this new camera thing. I apologize. And I'm sure everyone wants to hear about the technical difficulties. I can turn the flash on. No, that's worse. Bitrate highest. What does that do? I don't know. Focus automatic. If I turn that off. No, that's not a timer now. Anyway, how are you?
I'm good, mate. How was Bristol? What did you go to Bristol for? Just for a day.
It felt like work, but I went to take the lad because he's obsessed with planes, which for me is brilliant because I can deal with that quite quickly. But it did feel like work. So they've got an aerospace museum. So if anybody wants to go, I would well advise it. They've got a Concorde there, the last one that ever flew, and you can have a wander around it, which is lovely. Door's on the wrong side, Alex. This is the door. I'm confused.
It's not changed in your house, Alex. We're not saying somebody just moved the door in your house. We're saying it's moved on our screen.
I can see the image on the thing, though. I'm so confused.
Yeah. I think you'd notice if somebody just changed your house round.
Oh, yeah, that'd be quite nice. I'd love a garage. How much for the DSLR, Simon? For you, my friend, at least only 200 quid. Right, then let's have a look through. So let's go through. Evening, Daniel. Evening, Wayne. Bren, what time do you call this? I know, I'm really sorry. The DM35 poster is flipped. Alex is mirrored. No one wants to of me. Daniel says, you did walk out to your left last pod. Did I really? Do you want me to try it again, Dan? He's as left as Sam now. Oh, God, don't say that. Hasn't changed, says Ben. Thank you. I thought I was going mad. How much for the DSO? I've done that one. Door's on the wrong side, Alex. Don't start this with me, Martin. I'll start freaking out a little bit. I'll probably walk out that way and bang my head on the wall. Evening, Tacklebury. And then Tim Hubbard, in keeping with the complete contrast from last week. That's true.
We'll win a game and like your door will be above you or something, mate.
Well, this is it. My house is going to keep changing until we actually get 3 points on the board. But a point is not bad. Hello, Andrew. How are you?
Do you know where Bruce is?
I assume he's in the pub. Let's have a look. Let's share our WhatsApp group.
Oh, don't do that.
Why? Let's share our WhatsApp group. Actually, no, I can't because my phone is my camera, so I can't connect to it. Fine, you win. He's mid-family game, says Ben. It's apparently so. So effectively, I think Bruce has got a chance of winning. How was your weekend, Mike?
Yeah, it was good, mate. Quiet one. It's a lot better when you've not lost a game of football, isn't it? So yeah, it was decent. I watched a bit of the rugby, watched some of the cricket. Yeah, quiet one.
I've got a random. My wife made me this random thing, and there's only one.
Yeah,
one left now. Arjun Raiki, for some reason, is just it. I think.
Have you seen he's gone to Leicester, hasn't he?
He has, yeah. He got a bit moody with me because we were all in the midst of Wrexham euphoria once, but yeah, it's amazing. He's gone there, great stuff, doing well in the Championship, I guess. Him and Ben Grist.
Sam's on a stag do. He's just sent me a picture of 3 pints of something.
Well, champagne probably. Well, it's nice to know Sam has gone out on a stag do. He's a very excitable young man. I'm not sure I'd want to go on a stag do with him.
Who's on a stag do on a Sunday night?
That's true. No libel tonight then. Ben, I think I cut it beautifully. I don't think anyone noticed. And I did meet Alistair Campbell on Tuesday.
Did he sue us?
Which he didn't sue us. He didn't know who we were. I basically got out looking forward to the game tomorrow. And then who else did I talk to? Oh, no. I wanted to talk to him about Mikey O'Neill because that came through the day after. Because I've just laughed at him for 5 minutes. But he was very good. He took a lot of polls from the audience, which was quite interesting. You know, opinion polls.
They're not welcome.
It's not the Home Office sort of stuff. Yeah, he was really, do you know what? He was good value for money, as are most of the politicians, actually, that we speak to. James Cleverly was pretty good. William Hague was great. But, you know, they've got it all patted down, haven't they? But no one wants to hear about that stuff.
Well, you've had to do a lot of editing this week because you had to edit my little faux pas of the Twitter space, didn't you?
Oh, shall I tell you something? That drove me absolutely mad. And I don't know why. Anyone who's tried to download a Twitter space, there's only like a couple of websites that do it. And I think there's only one that does it for free. And I, for the life of me, work out how to download it correctly. I bugger. So there's like 8 emails of me trying to download the first one, and all it was just you and Bruce going, all right. But how was it? I took a sabbatical. How was it?
Yeah, it was good. I mean, Bruce, I had to come clean to Bruce because I was telling him it wasn't my fault that it turned off, but it was. I flipped back accounts and didn't realize it had turned off. But yeah, it was good. I got a good hour in, actually. And there was bits and pieces happening at the time. And is Wilson going? Isn't he going? Are we signing anyone? Aren't we signing anybody? So yeah, it was a good chat. Talked about the window, talked about the season in general. So,
and what was the?
It's nice to. It's better than sitting at home just watching the window, all talking about Lewis Hamilton instead of football, isn't it? So it's nice to get a group of town fans together.
Today's date's a palindrome. I've just worked it out.
What is a palindrome?
It's when it's the right way around, isn't it? It's 4224. Is
it?
Yeah. I'm a genius. I just worked it out.
I didn't even know what a palindrome was, mate. Remember, it's me you're talking to.
Just download because I'd written it in there, and it worked it out.
Oh, well done.
Bruce kicked a lion. Is the only note I've got in this page. So yeah, was it all good? Yeah, all went well.
Yeah, I mean, other than me bollocksing it up and turning the space off and then having to restart it. Yeah, it was good. Bruce talking about every player like he's the best mate because he's forgotten second names. So he says, well, we've signed Doug and we've signed Liam.
This is what
I wouldn't mind it. I knew he'd written them down.
Bruce likes to evoke this sort of image that he's all pally with all of them, which is why he says nothing controversial on here or on Humberside, because he doesn't want to upset them. Because unlike us, he probably sees them every once in a while.
We did. We had Youngie on with us, and within the space of 5 minutes, they're talking about 2003 transfer deadline day.
What happened in the 2003 transfer deadline day?
I don't know, because you know what I'm like when Bruce starts talking about stuff from the past.
We let Darren Mansaram go. Let's talk about the football, and we will come back shortly.
Open wide for some soccer!
And now the shipping forecast issued by the Met Office on behalf of the Maritime and Coast Guard Agency at 1130. Go! At 1130.
I don't think I've ever wanted to be in a stand more than my life around there. They're going crazy. Yeah, they got penalty here. They've been fish flying about that. There's no tomorrow.
What a magnificent piece of football! A really, really good shot.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the DN35 podcast. I hope you're enjoying your point of a weekend, at least. So, Mike's already said his weekend feels far better because we didn't get trounced or we didn't concede any goals, actually, which, we could probably do an hour on. But we'd really like to have your thoughts and opinions. Thank you for everyone who's been getting in touch, who joined us on the transfer deadline day piece. To our five-a-side team who, wheeze and puff their way up and down the Trin Community Centre. If you want to get involved in that, just let us know. Ask Hannah what a palindrome is, says Tim. I'll tell you something, Tim. We were doing word of a day.
Hannah knows a lot of words. Hannah knows a lot of words.
My favourite was hook muck, which was I can't even remember what it was. You might have to look it up, Mike, because I can't even get on my WhatsApp. Was it just a chaotic mess, which I assume just described the defence pre-Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, I think she was just looking at words to insult me and Sam, to be honest, without us knowing.
Well, I mean, you don't need.
I think it was something like a chaotic mess or something.
A chaotic mess, yeah. A hook muck. So if you're trying to look for words to describe our defence, when we concede 5, you have one available. And we did try, and I'm very disappointed in Bruce, which is why I'm not bothered we're missing him. Is he was asked to go on Humberside. By old Jason, and so we asked Bruce, as is the way, to say a particular word and to slide it into conversation. And what was it? Esperity, which means like
something like that. It was so complicated I couldn't understand the word or pronounce it.
It basically means the heat from the winter sun. And I thought we could at least try and cut this off and make it even funnier and tell Jason that it was meant to be thrown into the football forum, and could he try and beat him to it? And neither of them went to any trouble of getting it in there, which shows that lack of dedication to your entertainment. And
it shows Bruce is a bottler.
He's a bottler. Yeah, he's a bottler, as he is at this family game night. I bet he will lose to Maisie. That's how he is. He is the, I don't know, the South African
did you hear, though,
team.
He was going on about talking about town, and I knew he would. He mentioned a car park. He can't help himself, can he? What
car park? Do you know what? We should let him do his top 10 car parks of the Football League. Taylor Blease says, I know it's one game, desperately trying to pull us back to football. I know it's one game, but Thompson looked like an upgrade on Conte, wanted the ball and actual play forward, and thought we were unlucky not to finish with 3 points. And Taylor, I don't disagree with you there. And I think this goes back to something that I was talking about last week when I said, I think Conte is probably one of the most gifted footballers I've seen at the club. And I should have prefaced that with in sort of like the last 20 years or so, because technically he's a beautiful footballer. I think he's got a great touch. I think he's great on the turn. I think he's great in that way. But he just didn't have that, that rampant, leadership and determination that Thompson I saw. And granted, we're judging a player on 6 months, which is not much to judge a player on a 3-year contract. And, and Thompson, who's played 1 game. But from what we saw and what from Cheltenham fans said when he went, I think we've got a half decent player in there. And he might well be that leadership and steel and tenacity in the middle of the park we have been sadly lacking this year, which might do us a world of good. And Daniel Lewis adds on to that, saying Thomas will very quickly become a fan's favourite leader, barking orders and also organising. Mike, there was a football game yesterday. We drew with Accrington Stanley, playoff chasing Accrington Stanley. What were your thoughts? And do you want to add your thoughts on the Thompson thing?
Yeah, I would. I mean, the difference with Thompson and Conte is Thompson's had 10 more years in professional football. He's obviously got the nous and the know-how as well, which I think you saw. But yesterday, I think all in all was a good point. A clean sheet on the road away from home at Accrington is never a bad thing. I said on the Twitter space we did on Thursday when we was talking about predictions for the weekend, like I'd take a 0-0 all day. With the problems we've had with our defensive frailties, conceding goals and losing games, I think if you could take a 0-0, you would have done so beforehand. So relatively happy because that was my position before the game. So you can't change that just because you were probably the better side. But I think we were the better side. I mean, in the first half, the game was a bit scrappy. There wasn't much quality. I don't think it's a bad game of football. It's just a different type of game of football. But I think in the second half, it opened up a lot more, and that's where we started to assert our dominance in having a higher level of urgency and a more clear game plan with what we're trying to do. And I wasn't quite sure what Accrington were trying to do, but I could see what we were doing. I think some of the key differences Saturdays, I think Rodgers looked a lot better. And I see today that he was in a team of the week in one of the local papers. And I think that's got a lot to do with he has a better fullback outside of him. You know, we might talk about all the new signings later on, but I think Rodgers had a really good game. We looked a lot less open in terms of being able to be played through, which we've said for weeks and weeks and weeks, that for as good as we are on the ball and as good as we are in creating chances, if somebody gets the ball in the centre of the pitch, they can pass it through the middle and score a goal quite easily. And that looked to have changed yesterday. I think in part that's obviously Thompson, but I also think Gav and Harry had a good game in there as well.
I've got to agree with you
should...
there. I thought Harry had a really good game yesterday, you know, and he's got his detractors now. He really does. And I don't know if it's, you know, people have got a point when they say he's not necessarily had the same season he had last year. He hasn't been able to fulfill with the same numbers. I think he was probably playing a little bit of a different role. He wasn't playing as far forward, but I thought he did really well yesterday. And maybe is that, and this is maybe something Harry, is it because he's now getting to that point where he's, you know, moving from a young lad to now a senior pro at the club, and he needs to take that leadership role. And Thompson adds that little bit more security. When they were looking to Clifton for that leadership, Thompson's there to step in and do it. You know, all surmising and talking out my arse, but maybe. Well, sorry, I interrupted.
It looked to me like he had a clear sort of idea of what he's meant to do, and he was executing it. You had Thompson with the know-how and the determination, but you also had Harry's energy, and he was running all day. You know, sometimes when Harry's on his game and he's running as hard as he does, it's like having two players in there. And I think the criticism of Harry is slightly unwarranted. He is not as good as he has been the last couple of seasons, but I don't think anybody can say he has been poor. What some people tend to do is just expect the high level of performance and the high return all the time. And when players inevitably drop off, not to a bad performance, but just to a mediocre one, we tend to then be judging them from their previous standards. So you know, he's had some poor games this season, but he's been fairly solid enough. You know, if you're looking for problems in our team, Harry Clifton's not one of them. You know, and I think he'll partner Thompson quite well. One thing I would say though, yesterday is we should have won the game, and the frustrating thing, or the only frustrating thing from my point of view, is just making some wrong decisions in key areas. There was a couple of times Harry's one, Danny Rose is the other, where, you know, they're running at the defence 25 yards out, and they've got a ball they can slot down past one of the fullbacks or inside the centre halves, and they've gone for a shot. And you're thinking, just in those key moments, making those right decisions, slotting it into for Danny Rose to have a one-on-one, you 1-0 up. But that was the difference between 3 points and 1 point yesterday for me.
Taylor says, as my worry, as Mike said about Rose being injured, is that if Thompson picks up a knock, I fear that we will miss that very quickly. I really hope I'm wrong. Some other ones coming through. Stephen says, evening all. Good point, clean sheet. New players played well, despite being a bit rusty, and the side looked less erratic. Ben said, I'd be intrigued to see the number of yards covered by Conte regarding and Thompson. It felt like Thompson protected the whole back four for a lot more. Josh suggests that Ganua is the most underrated player at the club. Cy Hodson says, could have, should have won the game. Said a number of times this season. I think, you know, though, Simon, people, including myself, have been pretty disappointed in terms of where we have been at recently. And so, you know, if we're coming away from a game against a playoff chasing team, and they are, and we're saying, oh, we should have, if it wasn't, I'd rather come away from it thinking, oh, we could have won it if we'd have taken our chances. And if Danny Rose is our problem, you know, missing that chance at the end, then I'm quite happy for Danny Rose to be the problem, because that means we've eradicated every other one that we've got. And, you know, 9 times out of 10, he puts something like that away. But again, it shows exactly what this league is like. You know, Accrington Stanley, a lot like the other teams that have come and played us, they haven't been, apart from Walsall and Mansfield, I guess, they haven't been exceptional. They haven't been incredible. And there are so many fine margins that, you know, it won't take long for us to be in that sort of position if we want to be. Granted, probably not this year. Sorry, Mike, I muted you because I could hear rustling.
You said you'd muted me, and then I proceeded to carry on talking. Sorry, mate.
That's all right. That's all right. I kept muting you back. Dan says Harry this season issue, I think, is he's more in the middle and he's trying to carry the ball too long. You might be right, Dan. I haven't really noticed that. I'll try and keep an eye out for it, and then I will agree with you fervently.
That is that. Now he said that. That's a very yes. He has. I hadn't noticed that until he said that. Yeah.
And then when he comes to pass, that pass would have been good, has gone. I think that's, I think a lot of the players are guilty of that. There was one yesterday, I think, where Kieran Green had to make an 8-yard pass in front of Holohan and on the attack, and he played it inexplicably. He wasn't under pressure, just played it a yard behind him, which, took out all of the momentum. And I think that's where, the fine margins are in this, that allows the opposition to get 3 or 4 steps further back to regroup and recuperate to be able to defend better. And that's what I think we're guilty of.
Yeah, I think you're right, and that's the issue. We spoke a couple of weeks ago about finding where the line is. If you want to shore the midfield up and not concede as much, you are losing a little bit of that. Flair's maybe not the right word, but that that Hunt type of player that makes that pass, and you're going with your Greens and your Harrys and your Gavs, and the passes aren't as accurate. So it's about just finding that line with it. But one thing I thought is if you've got Thompson playing, I think that frees you up to have somebody in that midfield 3 like a Hunt, because I think Thompson looks so good. It's obviously one game, but I think that frees you up to have somebody in there that you don't have to rely on as much defensively because you've got that experience and that leadership in there. And the thing with Conte is he was good on the ball, but defensively he wasn't as good as he should have been, and that comes with time. Developing as a footballer, but he was, on Saturday, Thompson just appeared at the right place at the right time in our 6-yard box, and that was what Conte missed, is that little bit of knowing where to be and knowing how to mop up any danger. That'll obviously come with time, but I think we've replaced potential with the finished-ish article.
Ben, I think me and you are talking about the same thing here. If anything summed up Kieran Green, he pinged a 50-yard crossfield worldy pass yesterday, which he did. It was a beauty. And then a minute later, I think we're describing the same bit where, an easy 5-yard pass and he put it into the stands. And do you know what? It doesn't just sum up Kieran Green, I think. I think it sums up quite a lot of the players at times. Just that lack of consistency has been the real issue and why we can't necessarily always get out of it. It'd be lovely to get your thoughts as well on what you thought of Smith, what you thought of Hume. Harvey Rodgers had a good game yesterday. I will scroll back in a second. Someone talking about maybe. Oh yeah, Tim Hubbard said Rodgers was maybe inspired by the Aki reject chance. Again, I got to say, Accrington Stanley fans, wonderful as always. Really underrated fan base in this league, given the size of the squad, and Town fans were great as well. And someone who has finally given you his time to show you the lack of respect he has for you as viewers and listeners. He decided to put ahead of you just, a plastic pig and a cardboard fence.
Shit house.
Bruce, yeah.
Good evening.
Good evening. How many are we in?
Oh, all right. No, I've been driving. I drove today.
So 3 in.
Just been, 5 and drive.
No,
No,
it's not the 70s anymore.
no, I've been to my mum's for tea. As Sam's on his stag do, I thought I would. Yeah, and Auntie Lunch wasn't there. But and then there was some sort of family game arranged after, which was
Who won?
A photo of. I won the first game, and then my mum won the second. But she's not always the best at that sort of thing. She didn't realise she'd won until somebody pointed it out. But yeah, I can't remember what the game was called. But yeah, it was
is that good then?
You both well?
Yeah, good. Thank you, man. Good.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what was going on. Last week people were bemoaning the loss of the legend that was Conte. I turned on the podcast tonight and Mike's slagging him off.
I don't think I'm quite slagging him off, mate.
That's moved. We've basically upgraded Conte with the finished article. I mean,
Bruce,
we've
what I did, I went to Bristol today and I just drove past Bristol Rovers ground and I threw all of Conte's old stuff out into the street for him to pick up and drove off and said Thompson is king.
yeah.
Shall I print that?
Yeah, Mike's moved on quickly, but that's good. That's good. It's life's too short to be getting upset for too long about things, isn't it?
If only
I think it's a
if
slight
only-
misrepresentation of.
If only people from Bristol could read, they would print it everywhere.
No, we could do with helping Sam get rid of and let go of things a bit easier, couldn't we?
Oh, I'm not saying a word on that after this week. So come through. So Taylor says Hume was lacking max sharpness, but Smith looked solid. Ben said, I thought Smith grew into the game and got better as it went on. Kept their best player very quiet. I think Rogers and Marr looked very competent with the two fullbacks good with them. Mark Walter, good old Mark, how are you, mate? Says Hume clearly needs game time. He got better as the game went on and after looking so rusty for the first 15, 20 minutes. And Simon Hudson and Ben Hill basically say the same thing, which says Hume's corners were decent. Hume's set pieces were very good. Tim Hubbard says Hume and Smith were both steady enough. Nothing spectacular, but no hearts in mouths moments either, which is the point, Tim. Let's have a bit of boring, both on the field and off it. Especially in, Cobra meetings. Daniel Lewis said, would have been interesting to see Conte alongside Thompson. It wouldn't have been, Dan.
Mike didn't want that.
No, Mike didn't want that. No, he didn't want it. Dead. He's dead to us now, isn't he? That's the thing. Bruce, what were your... spell Kante right. Bruce, what were your thoughts on the game? Did you see anything, hear any of it?
I didn't, mate. I was in the Linden, and so I wasn't able to be in the chateau. So no, all I saw, I didn't even see Soccer Saturday because some selfish prats in there wanted. I jest. They
had the fucking rugby on, didn't they?
They wanted the rugby on, and we went in there to have some bets and watch the footy in the Linden Club.
What pub is this? Shame them.
Cleethorpes. No, it's Cleethorpes Town's home ground. I'm not shaming them, but no, somebody wanted to
shove your chino trousers up your ass.
But when you go in and somebody wants, and I mean we're not regulars in there, so I can't. Like if it was your local.
What are you moaning about then?
Well, they put the rugby on and not the football. But when they come in and then
it wasn't even England.
And then you turn around, wasn't it?
No,
yeah, it was.
Well, not what yesterday.
During town game was, yeah.
Okay, shows how much I give a shit.
Yeah. But then when you look round, they're talking to each other. They're not even watching the rugby. Anyway, by the by, and my bet's lost. But Town picked up a valuable point. I say I didn't see it, but stopping the goals going in, that's a good start, isn't it? Because once we get we know that we can score goals, so stopping them at the other end was a key. What's that? Our second clean sheet in something like 30 games, is it? So
it's our second clean sheet away from home in a row.
Yeah, our second clean sheet in 30 games. But yeah. No, it all looks good. I did see Rosie's header. It was a nice height for the keeper, wasn't it? Really. But a good cross from Clifton. But Rose had to try and get the power behind it, didn't he? And then it was well saved. But it was if the keeper had let that in, he'd have been like Allison, wouldn't he? Or that Arsenal cock up that happened earlier. But yeah, no, it's good. Something to build on. I'm positive. I got to spend Thursday evening with. Was it Thursday, Mike? Were you? Was it Thursday? What day was it?
It was, mate. Yeah. You've forgotten.
Me and Mike had some public cuddles on Thursday. Mike even switched it off, so people switched it off for a few seconds, so that nobody could see what we were doing.
DN35 OnlyFans is just around the corner. If you want pictures of Mike and Bruce's feet, do let us know, and we will sell them to you for at least 30p.
And you can see what Jack gets up to when he's over in America as well.
Yeah, that's
on the strip, literally.
Yeah, quite literally. Yeah, those films don't pay for themselves, you know. Simon wants to know when the flag sale is starting. Simon, if you want a flag, we will get you a flag. You know, can we buy the old flag first, and then we can get a new flag? Mark says stat that stood out to me at halftime was 0-0 Was nil out of nil for successful crosses for Aki. Showed the difference both wing backs made, which was great. And Ben Hill says, actually, Smith did nearly gift them a goal in the first half, talking about no hearts in the mouths moments from Tim. You know,
was that the one that made the highlights? We were passing it out. We were pissing it out from the back, and the right back got caught in possession.
Yeah, it's a really good save by Cartwright, that wasn't it?
Oh, did he touch it wide? I thought they just put it wide. I didn't realise it was a save.
No, well, I don't know if he touched it. He gave a corner. It could only have been Cartwright that saved it.
Okay.
I get why teams do it, and we did it a couple of times Saturday and got entries into their box. But I tell you what, sometimes it's going to make me very ill watching us try and do it. And some of those bouncy pitches where the ball's not running free, and teams pressing against us, it makes me very nervy.
Did we mix it up yesterday? Did we go long and play some short?
A little, but not much. From memory.
Most of it was short. Wasn't
most of it was short from memory.
Because the other week in the Notts County home game, we reverted to not doing it a lot, didn't we? I think he's experimenting quite a lot in game, but this all comes about, doesn't it? Because you've got nowhere else to practice other than the training ground. You don't get any. You can't. In the old days, you could have lobbed 4 or 5 of them into the reserves in midweek and tried something, but you've got to practice it real time, especially when you come in the middle of the season like he has. But yeah, I agree. It really gives you kittens, doesn't it? It's not comfortable when you're watching League Two footballers try and, like you say, ping it around at the back under a little bit of pressure. You've just got to press and you put them in trouble, don't you? And then you end up booting it. They end up booting it anyway. So yeah, but no, clean sheet's the key for me yesterday. I think that's really, really good, and it gives us something to build on, and we'll beat Stockport on Saturday.
You see, both those, all 3 of those new lads that signed on Thursday, some of them had a bit of game time this year, but Hume's played 2 games, I think, hasn't he? So as the game went on, he grew into it a bit. So you've got to hope that once they've had a bit of training under their belts, got to know everybody, and got a bit more match fitness, hopefully they'll be able to go from strength to strength. I did see that Cheltenham fans were a bit bemused at why they'd let Smith go out on loan.
They weren't too happy on either of them, really, were they?
No, not really. But Smith was the one they thought should be in the first team, really.
Which is always a good thing. Who doesn't mind pissing off them?
Sorry, Alex.
Who doesn't mind pissing off Cheltenham fans? They're always annoying to us, always winning over us.
Didn't Thompson was from Cheltenham as well, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like you say, he's the other one's the one but we were saying on Thursday night's transfer special that it was rare that you signed a player that they let a player go that had played over 20 games this season for them. It's quite an odd thing, that, to me. It's somebody that's obviously around the squad, and whether they're pushing it close to FFP like Man City, or maybe that's the problem.
I don't think Cheltenham Town have ever been compared to Man City before, and I think they'll take that, Bruce.
They've had to let Thompson go out so they could bring someone in because the wages would have gone over the threshold.
Out of the 6 we've signed, isn't that just 2 youth team sort of development players, and we've signed 4 sort of full-time men?
Yeah,
players?
yeah. There's the lad from Star Wars, isn't there? OB, what's his name?
Obakukwu.
That's it. Yeah, Ben Kenobi and
Doug, your mate Doug, as you called him on Thursday.
My mate Doug. Oh, I was on first names, wasn't I? Yeah, that's true. Yes. Yeah, you missed a cracker, Alex.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't. They're never crackers.
They were kicking off when Mike didn't do anything, but it went off, and it was everyone had to pile back on again and rejoin. It was good. It was good fun though, and we were ably helped by 3Q and Youngie, weren't we, Mike? We couldn't have rattled on for that long, and anybody listened.
Oh, you could have, Bruce. You could have. I promise you could have gone on.
Nobody would have listened though, would they?
Well, that's true, but you could have done it.
We had 140 people listening at one point, and that was because Youngie was talking, I think.
We should get Youngie on more often, really. Though he might command a fee. which might be the problem.
I think, yeah, a good buffet. He likes a good buffet.
Well, there you go,
What's he
Bruce. You
say
can
to him
sort him
when
out with some tea.
When I asked him if he'd come on, he said, "I feel like the last minute loan player." I said, "No, you're the loan player we're told never to fall in love with."
Yeah, you're right.
Isn't that
He's
sweet?
our Andy Todd, isn't he? He's not
Yeah.
some.
What's
Tim
George
Pot-
Lloyd doing now?
Oh, I shared his goal. I shared his goal today at Crew last year, and he was a good little player, wasn't he? He was involved in a couple of the goals that day. I liked him.
Yeah, he was good. He's no Danny Rose, though, is he, Bruce?
No, but him and Rose, he's a different kind of player, though. He's quite direct, isn't he? And he ran at players. Yeah, he'd be quite good up top with Danny Rose. How did my mate Arthur get on yesterday? Did he look like he'd been missing for a bit?
Well, here we go. I will bring up a comment that was said earlier by Joss, who said Ganua is probably our most underrated player at the club, ? There you go.
Yeah,
So
he destroyed Slough, didn't he? No, but he
That's unfair.
I think he's. I was joking. I agree. I think he's a good. I think he's half decent, and given a run with a manager that wants to attack, I think we might see him thrive.
I think you could tell he'd been missing for a while yesterday, Bruce. But when he got the ball, what he did was decent. I'd like to have seen him more involved in the game. I think bits and pieces of the game sort of passed him by. Probably not his fault, but I'd like to have seen him get on the ball a bit more.
Are we going to be able to get the best out of Wilson now? His head's been turned by Crawley.
That's an odd one, isn't it?
The bright lights. It's probably just because he was a former Sutton player, so maybe his house is still down that way.
He maybe
just lives near you, Mike.
Abroad.
Yeah,
cheap flight.
Well, I mean, the reason I say it's odd. The reason I say it's odd is we were letting him go, and apparently weren't bringing anybody else in. That we said this on Thursday, didn't we, Bruce? That would have been you'd have been one bad tackle on Danny Rose from not having a fit striker that's played competitive football.
Yeah, it was weird. To be fair, I'd have been crying in the toilets at Cheapside. I think that we said he could go, and then Crawley decided they didn't want him. Where does that leave him? Somewhere halfway down the M1 or the A1.
Well, I think Artell handled it quite well. He said, "Look, he left it up to him, and he's got the best of both worlds because he stayed, and he's he sees him as a part of the team, but he can't guarantee people game time." I think it's clear as day he wants to go back down south. I could be wrong, but it's just what it looks like, doesn't it?
Yeah. I'm not being. Yeah, like you say, I mean, he's not been playing here, has he? But he's with I don't know. We'll see what happens. We've got a lot of forward players vying for those 3 slots, haven't we? And really, you're only vying for 2 because Danny Rose, when he's fit, is going to play.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I was just trying to work out a game we could play. Yeah. Anything else you want to say about the window that came in? We lost FFA.
I think he's looking like we did decent business from what people are saying.
Sam obviously doesn't get his 20 minutes to talk about his long lost love. But Mish, was here, promotion campaign, did us a good job. And we wish him well. And then who else went off the back of it? We've talked about Waterfall already. We've talked about,
I think
Waterfall and Khan, didn't they? The only one that really went out, I think, afterwards, like you say, was Afete, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And we were surprised that Amos didn't go, but there's still time for him to move if he's prepared to drop into the National League, isn't there?
Well, I think that's I like Danny Amos, but I don't think he was ever going to get a league club if he wants to move on. We've got 3 left backs, so I can't see us hanging on to all of them.
There's no point, is there? But did you hear? This will sound like I've actually paid attention. Did you hear Artell's interview yesterday that he sort of said about why Glennon wasn't playing? That effectively he is a left back only, and not he obviously doesn't think of him as a player. Going back to what you were saying earlier about Mike about him, that he might actually be better playing further forward. He obviously doesn't see that, and I agree with you that I think his delivery further up the pitch could be useful, but he obviously sees him as a left back predominantly or only really.
Well, I don't know if that's the point he was making. I think what he was saying is if he's got Malarkey on the bench, he's got centre back and right back covered. He's got 3 other players that can play left, 2 other players in Smith and Clifton that can play left back, and he's got the attacking options of Vernham on the bench and the other lads. So I would like to see him as a left, or at least tried there, because I think his delivery on the ball is fantastic. But I think all Arteta was saying is just didn't have space to cover everything on the bench.
We do struggle now. We've only got 7 substitutes, don't we? It's crazy, isn't it? Like you say, these days, Alex will put the music on again. But we've gone up to 7.
Wait. There we go.
We've gone up to 7 subs, haven't we? And it's like you say, they're still talking about squeezing people in and not being able to fit people in. And I mean, a few years ago, you outside the 13, and you weren't doing anything at the weekend, were you? That's it. You can turn it off now.
Jumpers for goalposts. Had to walk to the ground. Football specials.
Stitches in the ball.
Stitches in the ball. Riots on the streets.
Stitches in your head.
Stitches in your head. Going home in a publicly funded ambulance. Yeah. Look at you with your posh ambulance that arrives within an hour.
Do we still have the St John's ambulance? Do we still have the St John's ambulance at the ground?
BBC cut us out. Maybe we can't afford last of some wine anymore.
No, it's still going.
We're like bloody Compo and Cleggy, aren't we?
It's gone. I'm
Mike,
gone.
you know on
Cook
Thursday,
everything.
On Thursday before we started, when I entered the first Twitter space that you did, was that music? Is that just what it plays generically, or did you do something to with like the whole music that we had?
No, it plays generically, mate. I don't think I went that extra mile to give you some hold music.
Oh, okay. Just wanted to clear that up. Thank you.
What do we reckon to Evan Corey's move to Spennymoor? It seemed as a bit of an odd one to me, that.
You'd think he would have been good enough to go to the National League, I would have thought.
I'm back. I can hear things again. I'm trying to make this computer do too many things, I think.
We're just talking about Corey to Spennymoor, mate.
For a month? What's the point in that? If he gets a game, I guess.
But do we think, though, perhaps if it's only for a month, like you say, yeah, that's maybe a good point, Alex, because if it was the end of the season, then you'd maybe say, is that really the level that we want him at? But if it's only for a month, maybe it's to get him fit and get him confident. And, how many times do we see it? If he gets him fit, you've got the best player in that league.
Wasn't Thompson a bit injury prone or something? I saw that come through some of the negative things that were said.
I think he's susceptible to a knee injury, apparently. But but then we're at our level, you're signing players at that age. They're going to have their problems. Issa came with I think you said on Thursday, Bruce. Issa came with a bit of an injury record, and he's been decent so far this season. So you do take a bit of that risk, don't you? I think with the Corey one, I think it's quite simple that they just want to get some game time in for him to come back and slot into the first team. In my opinion,
maybe
Walters
there's a tactic there. Maybe they've got Scunny coming up soon. And he's going to put Scunny to the sword.
Who else would you send to put Scunny to? Say, for example, Scunny needs our season is finished.
Yeah.
And Scunny are playing a team, whoever they play at the end of the year, Waltham under 12s or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And they've got to beat them to go up. How many of our players are you giving that club on loan for a month for that game?
I'd send them Dave Moore.
Send them Dave Moore.
Yeah. Dave Moore.
You send him Danny Rose?
Even though he's got Scunny links, I'd send him Dave Moore.
Just because he went to the Tesco.
Yeah.
I'd be sending Vernon. I think he'd be sending them for hot dogs.
Yeah, Vernon.
He managed Scunny, didn't he, Dave Moore?
Probably.
Yeah, he did.
Who else would I send them?
Danny Rose? Mickey Boulding?
Yeah. Oh, we're going forward.
Is he still playing for us, is he, Mickey Boulding?
Mickey Boulding will still do a job at Scunny's level.
Yeah, that's true. Who else?
He'd still be quick.
Liam.
He'd still be quick up against Roger the Roofer and Dave,
Andrew Boyce. Isn't it Boyce that plays for them now?
Yeah, he's down there, isn't he?
Yeah. What about You remember how good Liam Hearn was in that charity game?
Oh yeah, yeah,
Bruce just went to a place.
yeah. It was a
All
good
right,
day.
Bruce.
That it was a good day. That
It wasn't for the older players.
I thought.
Who-
Grovesy still Rolls Royced about, didn't he? He was the fittest of the lot. Unlike your hero, bless him. He's doesn't move quite so freely, does he? Does he pounce these days?
He didn't move that freely when he played for us. That was the whole point of the step over. It was just a really weird run.
Just stood in one place in the entire pitch, just pinging balls all over, but he's not moved the entire game.
I assumed when they told him that he did that, he was misunderstood when they said that there was a bodyboard in case anyone got injured. He actually hit it in his back. He was carrying it round.
Ben says Cheltenham fan said Thompson lasts about 75 minutes at most, 74 minutes and 30 seconds longer than me. Ben, we don't need to hear about that. Keep going, mate. Get some advice, and you'll be able to, enjoy the world a little bit more, maybe.
And when you do get that advice, Ben, just send it on to us all.
Come down and have a kickabout, Ben, with the pod boys on a whatever night it is these days.
Tuesday night, Ches Bruce is involved.
I'm injured.
It was good news. It was good
Injured.
news. Thompson wasn't actually injured when he came off, because I was a bit concerned, weren't you?
Yeah, apparently had a twinge, didn't he, or something?
No, I said
But,
he was just knackered.
Oh, was he? Okay, fine. At least we've got the honesty.
He said 5
They
minutes
did say in the week though, didn't they, that he said that they'd said, I don't know if anything's been said subsequently, but the centre back had not. They thought he'd done his hammy, didn't they? And then he said on Thursday or Friday, Ben Davies said that they thought they dodged a bullet, and it wasn't that. But I noticed that he wasn't involved at all yesterday. Did they say anything about that afterwards?
No, they've not said anything. I mean, but he could still be out for a few weeks, but that's better than pulling the hammy, isn't it? But no, they didn't say anything after, mate.
We thought he'd scored the own goal at first on Saturday when we saw it live. So I thought, but when I went home thinking that we'd lost 2-1 to Tranmere. He'd scored on his debut. He'd scored an own goal on his debut, and then he'd gone off injured on his debut. But the own goal was malarkey, I think, if I remember rightly.
Oh, you'd be disappointed at that, wouldn't you? You'd want that just for the records.
The clean sweep.
Yeah, the whole clean sweep. The only thing you could do is get sent off as you're being injured and carried off.
Yeah.
I was very concerned when he went off and thought, if you've lost him for a couple of weeks, the way we've been defensively. But I must say, yesterday's made me a lot more confident with how we are as a back four. Because we were saying on Thursday we thought it might go to a back five, weren't we, Bruce? With Smith and Hume predominantly being told to be that they're wing backs, aren't they? Or they've been deployed as that quite a lot.
Yeah, you mentioned it in the pod chat, didn't you? That you thought that's what we might do, and like you say, we talked about it on Thursday, and I don't disagree. But we obviously went with a back four yesterday, but we'll see what you say when we see what happens when we got another centre half fit, won't we?
Yeah, because Stockport will be a tough game next week.
I should have had the lads on really to talk to them about it, but I don't really want to hear the gloating.
Haven't we done reasonably well though against the better
We're
teams this season?
We're there, and we're Stockport's bogey team.
Yeah,
we
They
must be
don't
Notts
like playing
County's
us.
bogey team nearly as well.
You can't if you're a bigger team than them. You can't be their bogey team.
because we won there last season, didn't we? And then this season, even though he was in a bad run of form, Paul Hurst nearly pulled off, one of his smash and grab sort of things. Was it 3-2 or something like that?
Yeah, 3-2.
I think we lost by the odd goal at both this year. I've been to both of those. I think.
Well, I think Louis
Stockport-
Barry was
Stockport.
difference this year. This year wasn't he? And apparently he's injured now for the rest of the season.
Aren't they?
Yeah.
Aren't they? Didn't they drive at home to Harrogate on Saturday?
Yeah, they did, mate.
I actually sound like a sort of the fact that I'm only on this show for half an hour tonight seems a bit wasted, really, because I actually for once sound like I know what I'm talking about. Stockport have only won 2 of the last 5. What else do you want to know?
When we played them, they'd won. They were winning. They were on a 13 game winning run. They won 13 games in a row. That's just mad.
They're bottling it now, then, Bruce. Is that what you're saying?
Well, yeah, I've just seen our form though, and we've only got 2 points out of the last 12, so that's not great.
It's comparable, isn't it, Bruce? Basically the same
Negative
team.
bastard.
We've got one green tick and they've got 2.
Yeah, it's a lot. I've got to scroll up to get a. They got. Yeah, I'm not going there.
Kisses are good though in some contexts, aren't they? Just not on the football form.
Yeah, just not. Yeah, those little X's on there are not a good thing. It's not someone saying nicely goodbye to you. But so we've won. So our form recently has been won, lost, drawn. So if it continues, but it's the games that are coming afterwards that we've really got to show our form, haven't we? We've then got Colchester away, Donny at home, Morecambe away, Forest Green, AFC Wimbledon who have lost their star striker, Sutton away, and then I think that's.
I'm going to Wimbledon.
We did get a bit of a favour done at the weekend, didn't we? There was those 2 relegation 6 points, and they both ended in a draw. Yeah, Donny got
4 pointers.
Donny got a last kick of the game penalty to equalise, and I think Colchester came back from 2-0 down to draw 3-3.
They actually went 3-2 up, didn't they, Colchester?
Did they? Didn't see that.
Yeah, they went 3-2 up. I did see that through we could watch the scores in the second half once the bloody rugby had finished. But yeah, there was some interesting stuff. But like you say, for both of them though, Forest Green 2 goals up, Sutton a goal up going into the 90. I think it was the 97th minute or something, the equaliser.
Yeah.
And that's going to hit them both because at one point we were only 4 points. I think it was Sutton 22, 23, 24. No, 5 points maybe. But now the gap is, Forest Green are 9 points from safety. They're 9 points behind, and we're 7 points ahead of Sutton.
Such a shame.
That gap looks big again now, and if it, like you say, it stops people being quite so twitchy because neither of them. We talked the other week, didn't we, about how people have changed managers at the bottom of the league, most of the teams, and I wouldn't say, with the exception of Salford, that anybody's really had a new manager bounce.
How Colchester doing? Because obviously they do pretty well.
They've got one green tick.
They've got one green tick.
I think they've taken 4 from 6, haven't they?
They've So they haven't lost in 5 games. So they've drawn, won, drawn. So that's a Hursty run of form.
But they shouldn't be losing because the amount of money that Colchester have spent is ridiculous. Yeah. We talked about it last year, didn't we? The amount of money they've spent.
So, but the games they've played again, quite similar to what we've been playing, or we've got coming up. So they've played Swindon, who are, Bruce, you'll be able to tell me, I guess, 17th in the table.
Yes.
Then they've played Bradford, 18th in the table.
18th, yeah.
Then they've played Morecambe away. Morecambe and won. I don't know where they are.
They're still on the same part of the page that we're on that I can see. So they're not very high.
Slipping, Morecambe.
They're 12th.
They're on a downward track.
Yeah, they're taking 6 points on the last 9, Mike.
And then they drew with Forest Green yesterday. So again, they've got a lot of. They're playing the teams around us. So it might be. I'm scared of anyone who's got Danny Cowley. To be honest, I think they'll be pretty decent, but it might not necessarily be the run of form that you think.
The new manager bounce I just talked about, or lack of.
Okay, who are you going to say's got it?
Right, the bottom 5 teams. So that's this shows 5 games. So you've got 25 games. Okay. How many green ticks do you think there are in those 25 games from the bottom 5 teams? That's us down to the bottom.
3.
You're cheating.
No. I don't think Sutton's had anything. Forest Green, I think, haven't had anything.
There is 3 green ticks.
Colchester have got 1.
Yeah, Colchester have got 1. We've got 1, and Donny have got 1 out of last 5. So there's no new manager bounce.
6 or something in a row, haven't they? They've drawn 6 or something. And one thing I don't think we talked about is their new manager's that bloke that we were apparently in for, isn't he? What's his name?
I don't know, mate. Aren't they? I don't know. Is it not in the Sutton Times?
Well, I don't read it, mate. But who's that one who's his mate that was in the media went on Twitter, didn't he? And Jason had a go at him.
I don't know, mate. I'm googling it now.
Steve Morris. Steve Morris.
Oh.
Both talking over one another.
Oh, Steve Morrison. Yes. Sorry. I don't know why it's come up as Matt Gray. It says that Steve Morrison was appointed.
Oh, and that was the guy that his mate was the one that was trying to push it. It's a bit like
Yeah.
that guy who's the one, I can't remember. There's a couple of guys on Twitter. Who's the one that keeps trying to push the bloke from Gibraltar? It's like,
Oh, it's the Notts County one, isn't it? Is it Williams? The guy that's
I don't know.
associated with Notts County.
always keeps pushing this bloke from Gibraltar. It's like, what? So he's got a bet on him to be a league manager. That's what it is.
There's one game on Friday night. One game on Tuesday actually, which is Walsall against Morecambe. Doesn't really affect anything. And then I'm just looking at the bottom teams are playing. Let's have a look. It's Forest Green. Forest Green at home to Mansfield on Saturday. That doesn't get any easier, does it?
Now to Bruce with the fixtures.
Sutton United. Sutton United are away at Morecambe. That's not easy either. Doncaster.
A couple of tough games coming up soon.
Doncaster are at home to Tranmere. You wouldn't say that's easy either.
You are all
Colchester-
currently listening to a random man in Grimsby just reading out football fixtures.
Cleethorpes.
Same
Colchester are away at Harrogate. That's not easy. And we've got Stockport at home. Actually, I don't see a lot of ground being made, even if we don't get a result. But we will beat them on Saturday. I've said that already.
Generally speaking, for teams at the bottom of the league, Bruce, you can make an argument that no game is easy because they're at the bottom of the league. So
Right,
everybody's
please,
above them.
Just let me have my moment of analysis with you.
She's stating the bleeding obvious, mate.
Prick. Did I say that out loud? I do apologise. I'm sorry, everybody.
You said the quiet bit loud and the loud bit quiet, Bruce.
Oh dear. It's the voices in my head.
Yeah, is it? Don't
It's
go
fucking
that way.
That fucking McMahon.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know what to say to it. He's just, we can't contain him. At least we don't have, excitable Sam here at the moment telling us we're going to win the league. Actually, no, he's quite depressed at the moment, isn't he? Old Lewis Hamilton is leaving Mercedes, and whatever else is happening. He's not very happy.
You would have seen the positive side of his cycle of how he's feeling about town, because he's quite upbeat at the minute. But last week he was quite down, wasn't he?
I actually shared a moment. Mike was a bit sort of future Sam. He did some future Sam this morning.
Oh,
yeah, he was bemoaning the fact, and I do get it, that one day England will play cricket without James Anderson.
Yeah,
and that's like there'll be an England team selected without Jimmy in it, and I do, I share that one a little bit with him, but so that day, that Mike won't be on that week with you, Mike, when Jimmy retires.
I'm not crying. You're crying.
Do you want to do a cricket quiz at the end?
Go on then. I'm sure everybody would love that.
2 seconds.
A cricket quiz? What?
Yeah, I don't know. You've mentioned the word cricket.
I hope he hasn't got to get his balls out.
He's doing what now?
Yeah. He's probably gone. He's gone to check the cupboard doors locked.
Bruce.
Have you noticed, Bruce, his door's at the wrong side?
I just went for a poo. So my wife is bigger into cricket than anyone, and she was given this by the England cricket team. It is from the 2008 England-New Zealand series, and it's signed by all the players in the squad. Do you want to have a go at trying to guess any of the players? And the first one, out lost. I think Mike might be good for this one. 2008.
Strauss.
All right.
Right.
With Strauss, our captain, we'll take the urn home. That's great.
No,
What
he's
series
not on
that
it.
was? Oh, is it me to win it?
He's not on it.
I'm going to go Jimmy Anderson.
Jay Anderson is on it.
Yeah,
One life.
winner.
We can't do this. It's too quick. One life
No.
each. Mike, your go. Second go.
KP.
KP is on it. Yep, signed it. Yep. Bruce next. People are going to be going mad in the comments.
Going way out there. This might cost me my life, or it's going to be inspired. I'm going Monty Panesar.
I think it's a bit early.
Is it?
Bit late.
Early.
No, he's not on
No,
it.
No, he wasn't 2000. He wasn't 2000. He was after 2008, mate. That's what
I'm quite surprised. So go on then, Mike.
2008. Bell.
Yep, Ian Bell's on it. Your turn, Bruce.
I'm just
You
Googling
Googles
Monty
it.
Panesar. 1 second.
That's
later.
what you're googling. Yeah.
If
Collingwood.
you get one of these players, one of these guys, I will pay you 20 quid.
If I get one of these, what, players?
Yeah, this one player out of this that you will not get. There is.
Both
Okay,
of us.
so
Can
Yeah,
I go
Bruce.
Trescothic?
Tresco is not on it.
What? Isn't he?
He's nope.
No.
Does anyone else want to have a go in the comments?
Trot. Bit early for him.
Trot is too early.
Yeah.
Bruce, last go. Try and
Give
redeem
me,
yourself.
give me the initials of this player then.
I'm going to say Darren Mansaram. So those initials.
No. Oh, bloody, I was going 90s. I was going Tevin Malcolm. No. DM. Davina McCall.
It's Dimitri
Mascarenhas?
Mascarenhas. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well done. So there you go.
Right.
So here's the list. It's Paul Collingwood, Tim Ambrose, Jimmy Anderson, Ian Bell, Ravi Bapara. I thought you'd get J-Pop. R-Pop. Broad, Cook, Mascarenhas, KP, Owe Shah, Ryan Sidebottom, Graham Swan, Chris Tremlett, and Luke
Swanee.
Wright. There you go.
There's a few
I've
tricky
got 4 or
ones on
5
there.
like that.
There's a few tricky ones. There's a few.
Owe
few
Shah
good
is
players,
a difficult one. Yeah.
Mm.
But there we go. Have we taken it past an hour? We have. We've
Is
gone
that-
past our.
Can you name the people with cricket bat?
Name the people on the cricket bat. No, the other one was going to be give me the last 10 games in which Town kept a clean sheet.
I shared one of these the other day.
Oh, did you?
March
All right, well, you did.
1990 against Scarborough.
Yeah, no, we've kept more clean sheets since then, Bruce.
Really?
The last 10 clean sheets, Bruce. We've not kept 9 clean sheets since 1990.
Maybe
That's
sorry.
the- that's the title of the
Accrington,
pod.
Salford.
Is that too late? 1990. You missed.
He doesn't get it, does he?
Yeah.
What
No,
are
I get
what are
it.
you
No, I'm not confused. I was having a bit of a laugh, but it's all right.
Okay.
It obviously wasn't. It clearly wasn't funny.
Scarborough 1990 is the title of the podcast. Don't you worry about it. Well, it was nice to see you all. I think we're done, aren't we? Are you all done?
I
You think
I've
we're
played the
finished?
game now that you've really taken the piss.
Well, you're welcome. You know.
Says the man sat there.
I
with
would
a
never-
tag cut.
I
It
would-
was Mike.
I would never take the piss out of anybody. on
What
this
was
podcast.
Mike?
I don't know his name on here. It says it was Mike. I don't know
It was
what
Mike
Mike
what
it
broke.
was.
It was Mike what broke it.
It's the not awaited sequel to Magic Mike. Bruce is
I'll
going
tell
to
you-
get
tell
his
you what,
tackle out.
I think by the time we, I've just got 2 things to say. I think by the time we go to Wimbledon, and I come down and see you boys for the day,
I'm not going.
Artel's Cartel are going to be absolutely flying. And also, I think it's good news for the kids that Harrogate's being rearranged in Easter holidays
Why is that
Well, I mean,
good for the kids?
because they can go to the game and stay up late, and it don't matter. Or you can have a
Missed that
family,
bite.
or you can have a family overnighter for in the holidays.
What day is it, Bruce? Bruce, what day is it?
It's the 9th.
Tuesday, the 9th of April.
Because
Tuesday
I
the
go back
9th
to
of
London on
April.
the 7th.
Right, people, I'm going to do you a favour. So it's on the 9th. So 9th to the 10th, hotels in Harrogate for 2 people. Let's go.
Don't do it yet. Shh, I haven't booked it yet.
The Cedar Court Hotel in Harrogate, 4.1
Don't go
stars, 55 quid.
We like a bit seedy.
The
Don't go
Crown Plaza, Harrogate, 64 quid. The
Don't go there.
Yorkshire Hotel, that's their level, 73 quid. The Double Tree by Hilton. Oh, he's
Don't go there.
oh, why not there?
You know the Harrogate.
I used to run a hotel in Harrogate, and I know what some of these places are like.
Yeah, but it's fine. People are just going to get pissed and wee in the sink.
This is that 10 minutes at the end that no one needs to listen to. You know the Harrogate Spa. It's a Chinese now.
Is it?
That is
What, so
sold.
they-
That is selling your soul, isn't it?
Bruce is staying in Rudding Park, which is 381 quid. The Crown Hotel. would be all right.
Only if Sam's staying over and it's on Tory expenses.
There you go,
a pre-
people.
There's a
Get ready.
Premier Inn right
Travel-
next to the Weatherspoons.
Travel Lodge, Harrogate West Park, 38 quid for
Wetherspoons.
the night. There you
Oh,
go,
so Wetherspoons
38
again.
quid. You are
Maisie's
going.
just done me a little sign and slid it under the door.
What you say?
It says, she's made some Rocky Road, so I'm gonna have to go. Do
Okay,
you want
that's fair.
some? Do you want some Rocky Road? Yes.
I do.
No.
Yes, please, Maisie. Thank you.
Please.
Right, and with that as a news, 38 quid for a night out in Harrogate, hotel. And Maisie's made us some Rocky Road. So we will see you all next week. And thank you very much for listening. Speak to you soon.
Ta-da.
Goodbye.
Au revoir.
Open wide for some soccer!
And now the shipping forecast issued by the Met Office on behalf of the Maritime and Coast Guard Agency at 1130. Go! At 1130.
I don't think I've ever wanted to be in a stand more in my life around there. They're going crazy. Hey, they got penalty here. There'll be fish flying about there. There's no tomorrow.
What a magnificent piece of football! A really, really good goal. You can't make it straight like that.
It's the sort of weather you'd send your mother-in-law for a packet of fags.